Okay. Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner, classic, less known classics. This is episode number 1913 and Doubleshot number 1907. Two Marvel trades this time. First up, we have Aero, Volume 1, Before the Storm. That's her right there. If you're curious, who the heck is Aero? A Korean superhero. Which apparently this comic was originally published over there, and Marvel just brought it over here and basically had Greg Pak be a co-writer of the book because the character was basically brought here to be a new member of New Age of Atlas. That's really the whole point of the character being here. This basically details, well, basically kind of like her origin and basic... Oh, thank you, Dan Durgans. Yeah, Dan Durgans, I follow on Twitter. So, this basically just deals with the start of her career, though the book itself didn't last very long. This book only contains the first 6 issues out of 12. Yeah, this is one of 2 ongoing series, actually 3 ongoing series for Korean superheroes that Marvel had. The other 2 being the Swordmaster and Silver Fox. Silver Fox did have an ongoing series, but it was a digital first book. But for this book, it's not that bad. Get this book a 9 out of 10. It's pretty good. Love it. Yeah, she also interacts with Iron Man in these issues here, which is so awesome. Yes, Iron Man. Yeah, and this is your artwork for these issues. Yeah, Greg Pak is the co-writer for these issues. He's the one who adapts the stuff. The original writer is Zhao Lifen. The artwork is by King. Yes. But just an overall really good series. A really good first book. Oh, here's a much better look at her. Very beautiful woman. I got handed to basically the artist doing that. Yeah, and it's something this comic was adapted by Greg Pak. Now, I don't know if in fact the book itself wasn't when it was published in Korea, and I think probably South Korea because I highlight that brings up North Korea. Where if like it did last over there for 12 issues, but I'm not really sure. I had to talk to Greg Pak about that, but he's one to adapt it. Alright, next up we have Spider-Man, the many host of Carnage. Yes. This book contains Amazing Spider-Man 341, 410, 431, Spider-Man number 67, Spectacular Spider-Man 233, Carnage. I'm actually going to talk more about the series, this one. Also contains the entirety of Carnage USA, 3 through 5 of Superior Carnage, and the going down swinging storyline from Amazing Spider-Man 798 to 800. Now, first thing they put in here is basically his. We have the first appearance of Cleus Cassidy, which is done by Dave Michelini, obviously, with Eric Larson and Mark Bagley in the artwork. In the case of 361, excuse me, that was actually the first full appearance of Cleus Cassidy as Carnage. 410, 67, 233, that's probably the Web of Carnage crossover, which actually was collected in the complete Ben Reilly epic. 431, yeah, the host for this one is quite interesting. Let me show you what the host is because it is hilarious. Of who the heck basically that Carnage chose as his host because it can't be Cleus Cassidy, they gotta switch somebody else. So let's have, of all people, and this is a shocker for anybody who reads comics and thinks, really? He became a host of Carnage? Yes, seriously. As for why in the world this is, I have no earthly idea of who the heck in Marvel thought this was a good idea to do. That's not it. We have the Silver Surfer, Yes, the Silver Surfer be the host of Carnage Symbiote for a single issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting of an idea. Of course, the issue's done by Tom DeFalco and Joe Bennett does the artwork. And it's something though, Joe Bennett still works at Marvel. He did a really awesome run on Immortal Hulk, which is so awesome. All right, now I'm gonna talk about a couple other series here, but not gonna talk about the trade itself. Now, in the case of the Carnage miniseries, which was originally collected as the Carnage, this book only contains one issue of it. This book basically brings about the return of Carnage, which had not been seen in Marvel Comics at that point for 5 years, thanks to his apparent death in New Avengers #2, published in 2005. And when this book came out, during the Heroic Age stuff. Yeah, 2010. Where basically it's a team-up miniseries of Iron Man and Spider-Man dealing with the return of Carnage. Now, I get Spider-Man, but Iron Man being involved is quite strange, to say the least. So, the symbiotes come back to Earth, and we also see return of Shriek in this miniseries. Yes, Shriek. Oh, by the way, the book is written by Zeb Wells, who is the current writer of Amazing Spider-Man, and the artwork is by Clayton Crane. A guy who doesn't do interiors anymore, for some reason. I mean, at Comic-Con. Oh, it's going to be a person. And I know Zeb Wells is getting a lot of flack for the current Amazing Spider-Man stuff, but yeah, this is the guy currently with Amazing Spider-Man now. So, the Carnage symbiote gets in contact with a woman named Dr. Knives, who became temporary host, and later she became the current host for Agony. Yes. Excuse me. We also do have a new Doppelganger. Actually, Doppelganger is back here, despite the fact he was dead. Yeah, somehow he was basically alive, despite the fact that he got killed in a freaking bomb. Yeah, I think he got killed. Yeah, he got killed off in Spider-Man 37. He came back in Carnage #1, where he was captured by Royal Blue. Yeah, and he's only appears just in the miniseries Carnage, where he gets killed off by Carnage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, both him and Firebrick. Who the heck these two guys are is never revealed, because they pretty much in the way get rid of the Iron Rangers. Yeah. Yeah, so, and this corporate group, man, these guys are not very nice people. Mm-hmm. Who, for some reason, get this. You might think, okay, now this group never appeared again after this miniseries wrapped up. Nope, they just appeared in issues 3 through 4, 2 through 4, and that was it. Yeah, at one point where Spider-Man is talking to Dr. Knives, who later becomes the host of Cleus Cassidy. Agony, actually. Yes. Dr. Tennis Knives. Currently, well, she was the host of Scorn. And then she died in Women Revenge Carnage Born. Yeah, she's no longer alive. Yeah, for some reason, Donnie goes to kill her off for some reason. I don't really know why, but for some reason, she's the cult of Null. Yeah, for some reason, they decided to have her part of this group, and then she just gets killed off here. You might think, who was the current host of Scorn? Well, she was the original host, but currently, I don't think anybody is currently the host of Scorn. Yeah, ever since they killed her off, basically, they're not doing much with her at all. Yeah, I think this is one symbiote who currently doesn't have a host right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was one point reading the miniseries that when you have Spider-Man trying to talk to her about what's going on with her arm, he's told basically to leave told by ceases by some stupid lawyer who apparently doesn't understand freaking superheroes. And I'm like, really, Zeb Wells? You wrote this person that way? Whatever. Yeah. So basically, it's voted in the miniseries. Cleese Cassidy is back alive, except he got his new legs because even though he was ripped in half, he got new legs. Does that mean he has no balls? It's a joke. Yep, and in the case of Superior Carnage, this was a 5-issue miniseries. Like in the case of the first two, there's also this book also has the Carnage USA, which involved Spider-Man working with all the Avengers at that point in time. Superior Carnage came out in 2013 when they had the Superior Carnage stuff, and basically you have the Wizard, yes, the Wizard, reforms the Frightful Four and tries to recruit Carnage on the team. Except that Carnage has been lobotomized. Except you're probably thinking, when the heck that happened? Minimal Carnage. It was a crossover between Venom Volume 2 and Scarlet Spider Volume 2, which is basically the Scarlet Spider 1 that's actually Kane as Scarlet Spider. In the case of Venom Volume 2, that's when Eddie Brock was basically Venom. As a matter of fact, he actually does very briefly appear in this miniseries. Yep. So does the Superior Spider-Man. Yep, he does. And also, Jameson pops up in here too. And this basically, they're kept at Ravencroft, all things. So you have this guy called Morse. He becomes the current new host of the Carnage symbiote. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he becomes the brand new host of the Carnage symbiote. Which, Halair dies. You think he dies, but nope, he comes back later on, don't worry. Yeah, he's still pretty much around. Mm-hmm. And if you're curious, though, by the way, get this, he's no Spider-Man villain, Jessica Jones. Yes, if you're curious, what was the most recent appearance he made to date? Ravencroft number 5, which actually came out about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yep. 2 years ago, that's when pretty much that's when he last appeared. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, as for the 5-4 stuff, well, he becomes the host in issue number 2. But at least gotta admit, this miniseries actually was pretty good. If you're curious, who actually wrote it? Kevin Sanique. He wrote this one. Not Zeb Wells. So prior to this one, he did do 2 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. After this 5-issue miniseries, he worked on the last 4 issues of Spirit on Team Up. He also worked on Access Hobgoblin, Web of Spider-Man. This was a miniseries, not really the classic Spider-Man book, and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and that's pretty much it. This book is actually going to come out in just a couple months, but that's the most recent book he's done to date. But the last book he did was Web of Spider-Man number 5. Or just an anagram. Yeah. But in the case of this book overall, it's pretty good. I like it. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. I enjoyed the Spirit Carnage book and also the Carnage miniseries. Now, in case you're curious, though, fun fact about the Spirit Carnage book. When the first issue came out for that book, it came out during the Superior month, which also featured a crossover with Morbius, Superior vs. Spider-Man, and I think it was around the time they just launched Superior Spider-Man Team Up. Yes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the particular review. Stay tuned for my next review, which is going to be 3 straight manga reviews. First one's going to be Black Clover. Okay, next video. Bye.